Ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. My name is Daudi Tumwiine, Katumba. And this is a son's eulogy for his father. "35 years of training, now the work begins." I'm 35 years old. I've been trained by the best commander. Now the work begins. Ooh, okay. My speech for my eulogy, I'm going to speak English. So that we to the benefit of knowing what my father was to me and what he was to everyone. Who he was: Elly Tumwiine. There was none like him, and there will never be any like him. And that was his belief, that everyone was unique, that everyone was special, that because everyone was different, that's what made them special. He was God's child, firm believer. He was a general of the NRA, UPDF. He was a husband of one, Jolly's husband. He was a father of many, both literally and figuratively. The brother to rely and count on, an anchor to his siblings, a friend in every time of need, an artist and designer, a teacher of many subjects, a farmer with a deep love for the Ankole Longhorn, a lover of music and a creator of some, a patron of many associations and clubs, a man of culture, especially the Ankole culture, a student of nature and God's design, a very practical man, philosopher and avid reader, and until recently a very avid YouTube watcher. He was unoriginal. There will never be any like him. What he taught: it's never too late to start doing the right thing. What's down versus what's up. Echibuka wakulu, cheka wansi. Use your intellect to help people on the ground. No one knows everything, and no one knows nothing. The biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. If you want to run very fast, run alone. But if you want to go very far, run with others. The future belongs to the organized, and the better future to the better organized. Spend time on the most important aspects of life, especially time with others, rather than being ruled by clocks or watches. People have lost time for others and for enjoying the wealth they have. The fresh air, the sunshine. People have lost time for this. Now, what the last 2 weeks were of his life for me. Many have spoken of his past, many have spoken of his present. I will speak of the last 2 weeks of his life. Our last 14 days with him were a furnace, a true furnace, where I, Mami, and Brenda, and those who joined us later, Edna, Shiba, Cynthia, were tested to our cause. We had never gone through any training like this. I had read of the US Navy SEALs, considered by many as one of the most elite soldiers in the world. They had 5.5 days of intense training, also known as Hell Week. It is the hardest and most grueling week in their training. In the few or many years of my life, these 14 days were that for me, and I was not in Navy SEAL. To see your father look at you, at you and tell you the words you fear the most. Not with his mouth, but with his eyes, and in Daddy's case, with that one eye, is one of the hardest things I have experienced. To come day after day and see that look, that face that carried a smile and hearty laughter, be the same face that told you his last words and love, all wrapped in one, was truly a tough one. But we had help, and it carried us through. Who was this help, you wonder? It was not a man, no medicine, no intellect. None of that, nothing. It was the one and only Almighty God. He used men, medicine, and intellect, as well as time, to show us who is truly in charge. Even to the end, he did not forsake us. Even to this very moment, he has not forsaken us. We had our own motto during this time. It was something we learned during one of our many morning devotionals. God is with us and God is working. My observations and conclusions. 1. In the end, all roads lead to God. No matter who you are or what you do, it begins and ends with Him. 2. Family is God's first choice for the people you should think with, plan with, and do most of the things in this world with. Taking the best responsibility for families and work, in whatever way you can, is more important than being perfect. 4. Who my father was, I cannot be, at least not by myself. That's a task for all of us standing here and some of you listening to the sound of my voice. We believe that everyone is unique, and it's that differentness that made us all special. In his own eulogy to the late Jacob Olanya, he wrote, and now we're going to read to him. He has left a gap in our lives in many positions. The challenge for all alive, which is all of us, the challenge for all alive is to fill that gap in a small or big way. Fill his gap not as him, but as you in your own way. Let us do our best to add to his foundation. Let us add to his ideals. Let us improve where he left. Let us achieve his vision to which he devoted his life. Let us make the best of what Elly Tumwiine stood for. 5. 2 stories, different endings. One famous story that he has told was one of his mother, and how before she got operated, she said a prayer. She whispered a prayer. And the prayer was this: God, if it is your intention that my work is done, then take me. But if you think I still have purpose in this world, then allow me to live to do it. I assume he said the prayer the same way. He fought the good fight, he finished the race, he kept the faith. Second story, the one of his father, just like the one I'm telling of my father. The day he was admitted to university in Makerere, 2 things happened. One, the boom, as it was called that time, was scrapped off, or the facilitation that you get from government for university. But the real kicker, the real hard one, was the day he got his acceptance letter to Makerere, was the day he got another letter that his father had died. Famous in the Tumwiine household is what he said next: I will manage. Now, history has repeated itself, but differently this time. I was there, and I saw it happen. And this is what I told him: we will manage. We will manage. We saw what it meant for him to do it alone. I think that was the essence of why he did what he did for us. That he would never have to answer the same, that we would never have to say, I will manage. But he built in us the we will manage. Daddy told we were not just father and son, we were friends. Real friends. One time we failed to find accommodation. I remember it was in Burundi, one of those late night trips from the farm. And we found only one place open, one bed. And we shared it. And what will never leave my mind or heart is, instead of sleeping, we start a conversation. We are all investors and boxers, and don't think of the image, just focus on the story. So then we start to look at photos of the cows we had taken from the farm. And then the stories just kept going. That day I experienced a love that I've only dreamt of, that I've only wished for, that I've always worked for. That day, I saw my father be my friend. It's that look. It's that look that I later learned to read. The look that you give me, and and you'd know what's happening. The last words he was able to say, I had gone into the room. He was seated, looking up, and in the Elly Tumwiine fashion, we started talking about things like it was a regular day at the farm. Did we do this? We have to do this, we have to do this. Go and do this. And I looked at him and said, does he see where he is? Does he know what's happening? And to him, it wasn't about what's happening, it's what you're going to do after. That's the training here is prepared us for. And that's the training that I think will carry us. It is not what happens to you, it's how you respond to it. It is how you respond to it. When I left, as I was leaving, I told him, Daddy, I love you. He said, I love you too. When I came back with Mommy, he was trying to catch his breath, but was still able to talk. And then he asked for his phone. And Mommy said, but you're not strong enough, why don't you tell him what you want to do? He said, no, give me that phone. And I saw him put in his password. And I knew that he knew that things would go worse. I remember, Mommy, we both said, Daddy, we can reach for it. He said, better. And we said, this man is still in there. And he put in, then paused. And I saw him struggle. I saw his face pause. And I looked at him and took it from him. I later knew for what that was. Daddy had a tablet where he writes his thoughts, his ideas, his dreams, his newfound and acquired knowledge and how you want to shape the world. That's where he was opening for me. I told Mommy, I said, you know, you told me this, but I'm figuring out what it was for. And in that moment, I knew that the work had begun. My work was one, my job was one in Nairobi. Prepare them for what's about to come. But he did not let me down. All the sleepless nights, the arguments, the laughing, the sharing of ideas between his father and son. They were not for nothing. They were for something, and something has come. The time has come. The difference is, when he was alone, I with men. And I think that's the biggest legacy for him. The biggest legacy for him is where he was alone, I am with many. My siblings, my mother, I will be with you. We will manage. He showed us how. Now it's time to show him off. It's time to allow God to show people that the person who sits far, the person who decides to rid himself of pleasures for now, to avoid other people suffering in the future, that's who our Father was. That's who your husband was. That's who you'll always be. Not just to me, but to all of you. A man unlike any other. I end with a verse from the Bible. Actually two, but I will read only one in the interest of time. The takeaway one, which I will not read here, is Proverbs chapter 4, verse 1 to 25. The one I read here is 1 Chronicles 28, verse 9. And it reads, "As for you, my son Solomon," I'll change Solomon to Daudi. "As for you, my son Daudi, know the God of your father, and serve him with a whole heart and a willing mind. For the Lord searches all hearts and understands every intent of thoughts. If you seek him, he will let you find him. But if you forsake him, he will reject you forever." Rest in peace, Daddy.
All protocol observed. I welcome you to our home. Thank you for showering with love and solidarity in this trying moment. I thank God for being an ever-present help in the hour of need. He has been our rock and our anchor. My prayer is that we hold on to him as we start this new phase of life. He remains God, working in all things together for our good. I want to thank the government of Uganda, led by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and the UPDF fraternity for all the support we have received in this season. We are grateful. I thank the medical teams of Murago and Nairobi hospitals led by Dr. Mading and Professor Gule respectively. They went above and beyond in ensuring that Elly got the best treatment. I would like to appreciate the team from the Ugandan Embassy in Kenya who rendered their support to us throughout our stay in Nairobi. I also thank Elly Tumwiine for coming alongside us and walking this journey with us. It was not an easy one. Elly stood by his brother from the time he was admitted in hospital till the end. There are no words to express our gratitude. May God richly bless you and your family. A very special thanks to you, to Madam Sakina Juma, who was a godsend to us every step of the way while in Nairobi. May God abundantly bless you. I thank my children for taking care of their father from the time he started feeling unwell to the time we went to hospital. He was showed so much love. All worked as a team and a support system to me and to each other. Special thanks to Daudi and Brenda Chituma for coming well with the Nairobi team. I thank the teams of prayer warriors who interceded for Elly. We felt the love, support of people from all walks of life. I would like in a special way to thank the Greater Kampala Revival Fellowship for keeping the fire on the altar burning. We opened our home to Kampala Revival Fellowship, which passed the Right TV, which is currently streaming on YouTube. I always thank everyone who called us, sent us messages, We are overwhelmed with the show of love from each and every one of you. We are eternally grateful. I would like to appreciate those who traveled to Nairobi to see us. They were a source of great encouragement, love and support. Honorable Senide and Colonel Grace Chomusha, his business partners, Dora Chibende, Mariam Gamba, and Jerry Sabuni, my cousins, I will forever be grateful. Jerry Sabuni, my cousin, was my matron. When Jerry was a garatwink. Ninyenda kwebaza siblings ba Elly abakuza abaana bo omukyala Erna Mushutesi niwe munyanya mukuru omukyala Gen Elly mukazi n'ow'Ishento nibo batsigaire aha nakasero bakaguma n'abaana babo muri aha nimbebaza omurimo muhango ogu mukozire I would like to thank our in-laws, Honorable Wakosho's family, the Wamala family, the Muheiwa family, the Mbadi family, for giving us wonderful children who have been an invaluable addition to the family. Elly loved God. Elly loved his country. Elly loved the UPDF. Elly loved his family and humanity as a whole. His love never wavered for all this. He undertook tasks in different offices, he said, with passion, diligence, consistency, and integrity. He was a person who always stood for truth and fairness at whatever cost. Whether in office or out of it, he remained loyal and true to his values and the values of the revolution. He used to tell us about 3 things they wished for when they were in the Liberation War. 1, for the war to end in victory. 2, to be among the lucky ones to see the victory. 3, for God to give them a family and children. God granted them. God granted him all the things. We were blessed with children and even grandchildren. What a blessing. He loved art and fashion, music and nature. He was able to pursue these passions alongside his official duties. He always said, do what you love what you do it to the best, and let God do the rest. And he did exactly that. I was blessed to have him as my husband and the father of our children. We are proud of the great legacy he has left behind, which will never be erased. In the 35 years he gave us, I saw him grow in his walk with Christ. He was very bold in testifying about what God had done in his life and had committed to be an evangelist in his latter years. He had the conviction that what would liberate humanity was having a personal relationship with Christ, which would transform the individual, the family unit, the nation, and the world at large. Whenever he got an opportunity to speak, be it at a wedding, funeral, or any other gathering, he would boldly share the gospel. He would say that for him, he was ready to die. and would challenge anyone to get prepared. He would add that this should be a celebration of the life well lived. He looked after so many children, put them through school all the way to university. We have PhD, masters, degree holders in Oriya Parliament. I would like all who had gone through our home to stand up. But it's already dark, I don't see people will be able to see you. But these are just a sample of many children he took care of. I don't know whether Namkwaya is around. That is our PhD holder from Australia. Is Namkwaya around? Is around? And he is now the President Advisor on Agriculture. Elly was intentional in befriending his children. All children truly experience their father's love, care, guidance, and provision. He always made time for them despite his busy schedules. He had a big and a generous heart. This is our PH holder, Dr. Betty Namkwaya. We raised him when he came to our home, he was in P4. When she came to our home, she was in P4. And now she's a doctor. He's a President's Advisor in Agriculture. He had a big and a generous heart. He loved cows. They were his prized possession. And that was the gift he would give his relatives, friends, and university graduates, to mention but a few. In his period of sickness, as we interceded through the passage of Hezekiah, we were reminded that God had already added more than 15 years to his long life, long ago. Through the death-near experiences he encountered in his life, struck by lightning, bitten by a snake, shot in the head, but he survived through it all. I can confidently say he lived a fruitful, happy, and a fulfilling life. He always told us he was grateful to God for granting him all he desired and wished for in his life. I would like to thank God for the life of my amazing husband, Elly. He was a unique and a very rare human being who did things in his own way. We shared a fulfilling life together with its ups and downs, but God kept us on course. Here we are at the end of our lives, till death do us part. We will always be grateful to God for giving him to us, and we will miss him deeply. I call upon all our children to be firm in the Lord, stay united, keep his legacy of love. Rest with angels, my beloved Elly. I'm sure we will meet again. Thank you all once again for coming to be with us during this difficult time. God bless you.
I request we give her another clap. I felt for Daudi, talking about your father is not very easy. When he has departed, young man, keep it up. Honorable Elly Tumwine sent a very long eulogy. If I read it here, first of all of you get paralyzed, you want to move. Very touching words. I recognize it. I apologize to Honorable Ibanda Muikia from Montoroko. I didn't recognize you, but you are with us. Thank you for making it. I would like now to invite the Chief of Defense Forces, Honorable Gen Elly Wilson Mbusu Mbadi, to come and talk to the mourners. There has been, as my colleague did mention, some people going around about tomorrow's function. The public is invited. You are free to come, whether you have had a COVID test or not. Please make it to Kololo as we celebrate the life of Honorable Gen Elly Tumwine, a man larger than life.
The bereaved family, all the mourners in your different capacities, I welcome you here to come and commiserate with the family as we celebrate the life of our revolutionary pillar, Gen Elly Tumwine. I won't take a lot of time because I still have a chance to talk the other occasions, but the greatest achievement by human beings on earth is life. And Gen Elly Tumwine has lived his life, and through the many achievements that have been mentioned by the previous speakers, which I wouldn't like to repeat, that's what makes his legacy. Legacy, not necessarily in the law, but legacy of contributing to the present and the future generations, like everybody else has mentioned. He has done this through the various offices he has held in command, in leadership. As you can see, he was making more leaders, because that's the duty of leaders, to make other leaders, not only followers. Therefore, I want to thank his family for cooperating with the UPDF fraternity, especially during the last days of his life on earth. I also want to thank the doctors who tried all their best to try and save his life. I want to thank all of you mourners for coming to commiserate with the family and to comfort them during this difficult time when their loved one departs them. I pray that God will comfort the family, and as Daudi has mentioned, to enable them manage. Like in the Bible, the book of Matthew, chapter 5, I think verse 4, that blessed are those who mourn, for the Lord will comfort them. I pray that the Lord comforts you. Once again, I want to thank everybody who has come here to condole the family. During this difficult time. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gen Mbadi. I think we should clap for God for this country. "35 years ago, 36 years ago, to find a general after another speaking English was not common. In fact, I joined the army because the soldier who looked at my ID upside down could not read it, and he kicked me when I was 14 years of age. Now, general after general, they are speaking English. The other, I need to thank God for, they are all quoting the Bible. Hallelujah. Na kwa hayo machache, I request to invite Honorable Gen Elly Katumba Wamala to speak on behalf of government and all ministers present. The Minister of Works, sir. Someone told us that when the general died in 1983, there was looting in Jinja and around Imbuya. The first general has died. We are here praising God.
Well, thank you very much, Gen Elly, the clergy, the family, Jolly and the children, honorable ministers present, honorable members of parliament, the C.D.F. and all the generals of the UPDF and all security agencies, fellow mourners, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not officially here, I'm not being officially tasked to speak on behalf of cabinet, but for the same seniority demands, as a cabinet minister present, I've said something, but the official cabinet messages will be given tomorrow. Me, I'm here. I'd already given my piece in the new vision because of my experience with Gen Elly Tumwine. As a person, I worked with him, trained with him. Actually, our intake, I think we are now remaining less than 10.
Our intake was intake 17 long in Munduli. And I think here I have only General Mukume, and I also had General Brigadier, I don't remember somebody else, but I think we're about Brigadier Mulon is around. We're 300, but now we are remaining less than 10. So some of us were still surviving, we thank God for the gift of life. I think a lot has been said already, and I can't repeat what people have said. Mine will be just to say thank you. I'll start by thanking the President, our Commander-in-Chief, for identifying people like my late Commander and Comrade, Gen Elly Tumwine, to join the struggle to liberate this country, to bring it to the level which most of the cadres here have spoken out. I want to thank him, because if he had not identified this kind of cadres, this kind of people, then possibly would not have been here saying what people are saying today. So I want to thank the President for that. I want to thank all those gone and living who joined in the struggle between 1981 to 1986 to create a new Uganda. A Uganda which General Craig here is talking about, the new crop of generals, a Uganda which General Sabi talked about here, which has been moving, has given you the data of where we come from. And I think Mr. Enos also talked about the experiences they went through, which we are not going to go back to, and which we should not, as a country, go back to. So I want to thank Jolly. Because I was an ADC to General Tumwiine, I recall very well the time when General Tumwiine got Jolly as a wife. As a young lady then, she came to join the family at Kororo, where, as you have heard, there was already numbers in the house. Numbers. The Nam choirs, the lieutenant knights, and the other. Very many in the house. But I want to thank Jolly that you are able to hold all that and enable General Tumwiine to look after all those children, look after them, educate them, and you are beside him. Thank you very much. Thank you. Because as a young girl, possibly you would have said, no, this is not what I came in for. But you are there. You are there when at a time, as you have heard, General Tumwiine was a workaholic. And during that time between 1987 to 86, 87, 88, we used to stay in office up to about midnight. You can imagine a newlywed lady, a newlywed couple, but should not see the husband until possibly deep in the night. And then very early by 6 is leaving for office. Jolly, thank you very much. I want to say this, I think most of the people have talked so well. And during this time, the good words you can't hear. It's a challenge to those of us who are staying behind. I want to thank him for bring children, up the children. This is a big challenge for us, those of us who are still living and who are still having children. Having loving their children and making them part of you. You could hear them here talking about their father. You would really feel that his children knew him. They loved him. He was there even when he had a lot to do for this country. So I want to thank him for leaving behind a legacy of good children and a good family. And I also want to thank Daudi for giving that commitment. We, not I, we will forge ahead. That gives a lot of hope, because many times, and this is what we have my experience with, as an army officer and an army commander at one time, that many families becomes very difficult to even government together, because once the main husband goes away, then the family shatters, and everybody's pulling this way and that way. But when I had the we in Daudi, I felt happy that you have left a very solid family which is going to stay together and move whatever you have been able to do. As somebody said, Gen Elly Tumwine was not materialistic. No. No. He would not be in this house. He would be having a mansion. A C.D.F, an army commander at that time, when this business of accountability where Kosas calling us and skinning us before the media was not there, when there was no park. I've seen the Honorable Bamirama here, but then there was the CCF, and there was nothing like those accountability issues. But for him, as a cadre, he never looked for material. And I don't know where we lost those words, bourgeoisie. Right, do you remember them? Yeah? Yes. Exactly. We have lost them, and now everybody is materialistic, grabbing, and it's very challenging, especially now with our young people. As soon as he gets in a position, he thinks of driving the best vehicle, having the best SUV. That's not what Gen Elly Tumwine was. He loved his country, he loved the military, he loved the UPDF. And would really feel rubbed the wrong side of the shoulder if you talked bad about UPDF. He would not mince words about that, no? UPDF was his life. Somebody said he was very smart, yes, because he loved the uniform. He designed our first uniform. The first uniform of the UPDF was designed by him. The first emblem was designed by him. So, General, thank you very much in absentia, much as you're lying there. I know that up there, possibly you are looking down and saying, yes, I did something for my country, and you have really done so. I would like to request, in a way of thanking, I would like to request the Chancellery. There is Professor Ray in Nairobi. That professor, I don't know how many Ugandans he has touched. I don't know whether we cannot give him a medal. I don't know. If we can recommend, every patient from here goes to Professor Ray, goes through his hands, and everybody gives a testimony of how dedicated he is to his service. So I would request that among the people we can thank and maybe extend the medal is to Professor Ray. I would like to end because of, I don't know whether General Katumba is now analyzing whether I'm a cadre or not. Because he put a very big mark there about cadres, so I don't know where he put me. Standard measure. I don't know whether I'm meeting the standard measure, but I would like to end by thanking everybody who has come this evening. Thanking all those who have said the good things about Gen Elly Tumwine. And I want to appeal to Ugandans. We are not all perfect. None of us is. We are not angels here. If Gen Elly Tumwine rubbed anybody on the wrong side of the shoulder, please forgive him. Because he was a human being. And we are all human beings. We all make mistakes. But sometimes it's very touching to see the kind of messages which come out. And you look at that and ask, where are the morals where have our morals gone? That God, our judge, will be able to judge us. I want to thank everybody who has come. I want to thank those who have turned up. I want to thank those who have been with the family ever since this tragedy happened. And I want to thank God for giving us Gen Elly Tumwine for the time He has given him to us. Because he has been a very, very productive human being as far as our country is concerned. My general, my commander, the person I served, and the person who has served in this country with diligence, commitment. And a very humble person at that, I can tell you. 1989, you have heard Gen Elly Tumwine was the C.D.F, the Army Commander from 1987. 1989, I myself was his ADC, and 4 other junior officers below him. The president told us to go to Russia for training. He would have refused. He said, I'm a general. I'm with the C.D.F, how can I go and train with my juniors? We went to the same course, sat in the same class, discussed the same. That humbleness, that obeying the authority is what we need to cultivate and what we need to promote in this country. As you have heard, people, Gen Elly Tumwine has touched many souls. He had a passion, had a soft heart for the children of the late comrades. And I know there are many here, many of them. He would feel touched if they would be, he would find them wanting. So I call upon people, even if you don't have much, he didn't have much, but was able to touch many souls. Even with the little, you can still reach a soul. Thank you very much. God bless you, General. May your soul rest in peace. Thank you.